What's up? What's up, party people? What's up? Hey, Pat.
I can't even see that. See, y'all think we don't have no fun. We be like this all the time. Every conversation, every we just like this. We sorry. No, we not. It's just
I'll
us.
just go say, please don't apologize for me because I mean mine. Mine is, I'm
It's
stupid on purpose. I ain't gonna tell no.
just oh my God. What's
What it
up,
do, Nick?
huh?
What it do? What it do?
Oh man. Let's see. Nothing. I put my hours in today. We just gonna do what it we gonna make it do what it do. We gonna
Yeah.
make it do what it do. We got
Went to the went to the doctor today. I give you an update. Everything
okay.
is looking good though.
Yay! We
Yeah,
need good reports. We need good reports.
yeah.
Don't nobody bring me no bad news. No
News,
bad news.
news, the bad
No
news,
bad news.
the bad news.
I'm sorry. Don't nobody bring me no bad news.
Don't you make me.
Don't you bring me.
What? What? What?
Oh my God.
Why do I hear Mabel King do that? What? Okay. All right. Hey, y'all. What's up, y'all? What's up, people?
Oh my God. Hold on, y'all. Um, I didn't like that angle. We can't look like that. That's better.
Yeah, there you go.
The-
Well, they had you out in the parking lot. That shot, they put her out the car. What's the devil? What is going on?
oh, so um, this has been Financial Health Awareness Month, and I closed us out last week, and I was going to use this week as just open forum, but we kept getting questions about estate planning.
Okay.
Although I have another 2 shows dedicated to estate planning, we'll give you the quick and dirty tonight. But I have some attorneys and estate planning gurus planned for y'all in like July. So yeah. So Pat, what you know about estate planning?
Well, you know what? You said we're gonna do the hit it and quit it, so let's give them the James Brown version. Uh, the quickest way, and just to start, just off of the quickest way to start estate planning is really basic, an insurance policy.
Yep.
Insurance policy, plain and simple. I would advise anybody to go and look up the interview with the rapper Waka Flocka. And he was saying how there was a season in his life where he used to walk around with duffel bags full of cash. Like he would have $200,000-300,000 on his person, going around flexing and balling. And then he said that somebody had a conversation with him about money management. And next thing you know, he's taking all of his liquid cash and dumping them into insurance policies. and then started his estate planning from there. And then when now he's borrowing against his policy and then paying himself back. If you really understand it, and I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole by saying it, but that's all your Social Security and your bank account is at the end of the day. If you look at the back of your Social Security card, ladies and gentlemen, there is a number on the back of your Social Security card. And that number is going to tell you which Federal Reserve Bank that your account is in. And when you are transacting any business, see, like I'm just going to it now and I'm pulling out my Social Security card. And on the back of it, there is an H and then there's a number after the H. The H tells you, again, how many federal banks do we have in America? We have 12. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Mine is in bank number 8. So that speaks to it. So basically, whenever I transact any business using my social, they are actually pulling money from that account to transact that business, whether it's buying a car, buying a house. So ladies and gentlemen, you're already doing it just in ignorance. Whenever you are transacting business, you are actually transacting business from your own personal bond. Your own personal bond is your birth certificate. That's your bond that's been deposited into said account. And when you are transacting business, you really think Ford Motor Credit got trillions upon trillions of dollars to keep loaning people to buy their cars? No, that's not what they're doing. You're actually paying for the car from your bond account. And when you are paying your monthly payments back, you're paying yourself. So wealthy people are now understanding, cut the middleman out, which is the International Monetary Fund, and just simply do everything through my own bond or my own policy or my own insurance account. And if I'm just going to transact business anyway, just pay myself back instead of me having to let other people capitalize off of using my money. That's all interest is. When you're paying interest on something, that's them getting rich off the fact that you have good or bad credit. Simple.
So just for those of you who take notes, and yes, there will be a cheat sheet. It is, well, no, because people have been asking me
Yeah.
the tips and the tools that we write in the comments. So that will be available by the end of the week on Facebook. I still have not learned how to do those in YouTube form yet. So the cheat sheet will be available on the page by the end of the week. So for those of you who take notes, estate planning is just the process of you managing the assets that you acquire before and after you die. And so once when you start doing estate planning, you're basically minimizing the taxes and legal hurdles associated with the assets that you have amassed. That is why we tell you guys to engage professionals. And when you are estate planning, your professionals that you're going to engage would be your financial planner, because that's probably the person that you've been using to manage said investment funds and insurance policies and things of that nature. And then you want to engage your attorney. You want a probate and estate attorney. They are the ones who can make sure that your assets are properly documented, properly taken care of, properly aligned with whatever tool it is you decide to use. And when we say tools in estate planning, we mean your will, your trust, your power of attorneys, and the designation of your beneficiaries. So we'll kind of go through that tonight on a high level, but just know you need to be engaging your financial and legal professionals. I have an attorney that I use for most of my stuff. And contrary to popular belief, yes, I do draft my own documents because I've been in the legal world forever.
Yeah.
But I still go to my attorney to make sure everything is on the up and up, all I's dotted, T's crossed, all paperwork is filed correctly, and everything is proper and in order.
I don't know if
Um,
anybody can see the name of this, but if you can read that, that says Omniversal Security Agreement. When you really get into estate planning, and I'm just only sharing this because everything that it's covered, even watch this, I've gone so far and that's going to sound weird, but to literally buy back my birth certificate. And I'm going to say this because some probably just got probably lost by what I said. If you think you own your children,
you don't.
if you think you own your children, because some of you keep saying, my child, you think you own your child, send your child to school tomorrow with a mark on them that is visible. Their mama and daddy is going to come knock on your door. And their mama and daddy is the birth certificate and the social security card. And you know who owns those? The state, the government. And that is the reason why, if you know, like even when you look at the language on the social security card, how many of you remember when you got your social security card in the mail and it told you do not sign until you turn 18? The reason why you can't sign that card until you turn 18 is because you cannot legally enter into a binding contract until you're of the age of majority. And so we don't understand that the birth certificate and the social security card are basically contracts of adhesion. That, to be simple, that's all a marriage license is. Marriage license is really not a license to marry. It really is a contract of adhesion. It really is basically it's a contract of paternity. That's the reason why a woman can get pregnant while she's married by another man and the husband will still be assumed to be the father. And unless he can prove otherwise, the government will make him pay for that child, even if she had an affair. Because the marriage license is a contract. And so when she's saying, get a lawyer, the reason why she's saying it because you don't understand contract law. Most people haven't even heard of this maritime admiralty law. Most people don't even know what that is. And if you really understand that term alone, why do you think the Statue of Liberty sits on water, not on land?
Correct.
Y'all, this really, I mean, it's a lot to cover, but I'm just still saying just the simple part of this. This is us going deeper than most people will go and really understanding how deep this thing really is. But y'all, telling you something, you can buy a house and pay your mortgage every single solitary month, and your HOA can take it for you not cutting your grass. Like it's the stuff that, you know, they'll come through your neighborhood. Up, the trees are hanging below 10 feet above the ground. Either you cut them or we're going to find you, and tell them that you're not going to pay it.
Okay.
This is showing you how much you really don't own stuff. Because we don't go through the process of having proper ownership. And the reason why we don't go through or have the knowledge of having proper ownership is because we really don't understand how essential estate planning is. And all of these things, as I would tell people, is what Job described. He says, put it in the hedge. That's why when Satan went to have a conversation with God, that's the reason why he said, I can't touch him, because you have a hedge. Because you have an agreement with Job. And all of his assets are protected. I can't touch it. Get the law. Hear what he's saying, y'all. Even the devil understand rules.
Yep. Yep.
Demons understand rules. I don't care what nobody say. Demons respect the name, not the person. And it ain't whoever that person is spitting in your face, calling something out of you that they're respecting. It's the name that he's using because there is a there is a contract. And so when you really understand estate planning, basically protect your life, your children, your money, your assets, your home. Seriously, protect it, because once you leave and this stuff is not written down, they're going to take your loved ones through hell.
Yes. And they will even try to do that even if it's written down. And there are certain time frames that have to be met when you're doing probate stuff.
Yes.
That's why we're telling you want a lawyer who is skilled in estate planning and probate.
Right.
Yes. You may have an attorney that only does estate planning, and you may have an attorney that specializes in probate. But a lot of the times, a probate attorney will have both specialties, and vice versa. But engage your professionals. Types of documents that you want to start wrapping your head around: your last will and testament. You know, that thing that everybody say they don't need. You really do need that, especially when you have property like your home, your insurance policies, your bank accounts, your personal property, your marital property. Last will and testament kind of lays out who you want things to go to once you pass away. It also appoints guardians for different people that you are supposed to be caring for, like minor children or elderly parents. So this is why we tell you that you need a will in place, because it outlines what happens upon your death. And for those of you who succumb to this, I don't need no will because I don't have nothing. Let me tell you what happens when you die without a will. Y'all assume that your stuff goes to your loved ones. It does not.
It does not.
It then becomes the property of the state in which you reside. And they can probate your property, and then it goes to whomever they determine it goes to. This is why you need a will. So stop thinking, if I don't have a will, my family gonna get it. No.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, no.
There are laws on the books that control intestate succession. That's like where stuff goes when you die without a will.
Even now, we're saying 2 lessons, and I do apologize.
No, go ahead.
There's 2 lessons that we're learning. There are 2 people right now that their estates are making more money after death than they did when they were alive. One is Michael Jackson. 2 is Aretha Franklin. And if you really understand, Janet just actually came out and she was actually talking about how they're using his name to make money and becoming wealthy. But see, here's the thing. They didn't plan for that. And so people didn't get to do what they want to do with that. But watch this. There is one other person that has been removed from our presence, but you don't hear anything about his estate like that because he had his stuff ironclad, and that was Prince.
Yep.
You do not hear the estate of Prince going through what Michael Jackson and Aretha Franklin is.
Yep.
Because Prince had his stuff ironclad, his music, his rights, his royalties. He owned his impressions, his face, his name, he owned it all. And when you got people that you don't trust that put them in these positions and state, because I'm telling y'all something, y'all better watch who even y'all assign because I'm just telling y'all, we learned this, that when my father passed, there was someone in my family that was named as the trustee over his estate. And they said to the family, if my name is on it, it all belongs to me.
Mm-hmm.
Went, cleaned out all of his accounts. I'm talking about, baby didn't even want to pay for the funeral, took his policy and said, y'all divide that amongst y'all. All of this is mine.
Which is why you need your will in place. Y'all, stop being cheap. Stop being.
Did you say? Did you?
I did. Stop being cheap.
Go in the corner. Go stand in the corner.
I'm
go
not gonna stand in the corner. I'm baby
corner.
not standing in the corner on this one, because
They're gonna put baby in the corner.
I have seen firsthand what having a will and not having a will does to a family.
What it does for the yes.
And
and it ain't like we leaving millions behind. Y'all, come on. Y'all know Big Mama didn't have a $32 in that coffee can in the kitchen. What we fighting for? Like, what we seriously, yo. Listen. I think about this now, that if our family really understood stocks like we understood it today, like we understand it today, and really understand how to really set their families up, y'all, come on, y'all. Y'all really
just get your stuff in order. If you
Amen.
don't do nothing else, do a will. Do a will. You can Google a will form, fill it out, and then go take it to the court and file it. you can Google form of last will and testament in the state of wherever you are.
And a lot of attorneys are complaining right now because AI and ChatGPT is killing a lot of their business.
Yes.
Because you can get a lot of those documents for free. Just ask for
free. Just on the and let's not even get into these little, that little commercial we see on TV all the time with the little black man. What is it? Will and Trust, or Trust and Will, or whatever that commercial is. Those offer wills for like $200. And y'all, it is
just
cheaper.
Get it notarized and go file it with like the same place that you would go get marriage license and death certificates and birth certificates. Just go to your county assessor's office and go file it.
You just go to the county clerk and file your
and file
it. Y'all, you owe it to yourself and your family to put your will in place.
I agree.
Second document is a revocable living trust. Now, this has become a hot topic over the past couple of years. The reason people like trust is because the trust protects all of your assets or can. You could put everything in a trust. House, cars, money. Oh, that look good. It manages.
Oh, that's the left
assets.
one.
Huh?
That was the left one.
Manages the assets during your life and transfers them after death so you can avoid probate. This is why trusts are so hot topic, because you avoid probate. So when y'all go and talk to your attorneys, tell them you want to put your stuff in a revocable livable trust.
Question. Why would you choose revocable over irrevocable?
I would choose revocable because I can determine who is in charge at any point. Why would you choose revocable over irrevocable?
I would choose irrevocable.
Okay.
Over revocable. And here's the reason why. Most of the time, when it comes down to revocable, most people end up having to change it so many times because and it's not an indictment, it's just a reality about who we are as Black people. We assign people to stuff based on who we like at the moment.
This is true.
So if one of your children that got on your nerves, that's all right. That's all right. Let me get these documents. I'm taking your name out of everything.
That's true.
And so my thing is, I think what it does is, and here is the way that I did it for my family, and I did it this way so that none of us feels like that there is a power struggle. I actually created a Powell trust. And then I took our trust, I had it filed, legally made, a live living trust. We actually got accounts for the actual trust with B of A. And if you ever go get a bank account for a trust, it cannot be opened by a banker. It has to be opened by attorneys.
Yep.
So when you go in, that banker going to turn that phone around and put you on the line with their attorney, and attorneys is then going to have conversations. And that's how those accounts get open. So when we started doing the assets for my parents, be it the home, the cars, we assigned everything to the trust as the children as beneficiaries.
Correct.
So then we all split whatever that is, 1/5. And the reality, I did that way because as long as one person feels like that they have autonomy over the other person, it kind of allow there to be a conversation of ego versus accountability. And so whereas people are not really taking accountability, they're going to be operating in ego because my name is on everything. And so they're going to try to strong arm the rest of the siblings or the rest of the family because my name is on everything. And I ain't got to give y'all nothing. Mama's put me on it and mama said that. And this is the kind of stuff that happens, unfortunately, more so often in our culture and our dynamics than it be other places and other people, because we don't understand legacy and we don't understand inheritance and what that really speaks and what that says. And so I've known people that grandmama left y'all a house and they sold the house, and the people who sold the house are living in an apartment.
Correct. So, I mean, guys, just go get a professional and handle your business. Get a professional and handle your business. Third document, durable power of attorney. This is what authorizes people to handle financial matters if something comes up with you and you are incapacitated. Prime example. Mama, daddy, granddaddy, auntie, uncle now has dementia, cannot make decisions for themselves.
Yes.
If you don't have a power of attorney for that person, you are SOL. If you, at the onset, see that coming, you have someone who has a mental incapacity, you have someone that is terminally ill, just poor health, and it is declining rapidly, make sure you have them do a power of attorney so someone has the ability to handle business.
And let me give you a fun fact. And please, Nick, don't lose your thought. Just so that you'll know, your P of A also needs to be filed with your assessor. But what I want you to understand, they will not tell you this. They will still take your piece of paper and they will file it and will not tell you that it will not be legal. Here is the reason why. When you are filing your documents, that's why it's called legal paper. Please file it on legal paper. And if you don't know what legal means, it's just the size. It's not an 8 by 11, 8.5 by 11. That's not what that is. If that thing ain't a 14, they'll take your paper and file it. But when it comes time for you to then argue what is written on that paper, they will still refute and refuse everything on it because it wasn't filed on legal paper. That's just a fun fact.
Fun fact. And the other thing that I will tell you is there is no getting around going to the bank if you don't have your power of attorney.
Nope, they'll lock that account.
They will lock the account.
Yep.
There is no talking to whatever insurance company, whatever is a financial matter that you need to handle, and you do not have a durable power of attorney saying that you can do business on behalf of this person. They don't care. You have
And all of those systems are integrated, which means that the moment that you call them and say, Aunt Boosie just passed, and they're coming to get that body, the next day they are communicating to the system that that person is deceased.
Correct.
You're going to see an automatic flag on the bank accounts that's assigned to that social. If there's a social security check, if there's anything, it's going to automatically be flagged immediately.
Correct.
Because all of the systems are linked. And the moment, and they are required by law to communicate to that system that this person just died. Case in point, y'all, when you really understand this on the grand scheme of things, all we are cargo. That's really it. Do you understand that when a ship, watch this, is in a canal, look at the words, and all of the goods that are on that ship has to have a manifest, which means it has to have a living document that it arrived. That is a certificate of arrival. Birth certificate. And if that item was damaged during shipping or through travel or whatever happened, it also has to have a death certificate in order for it to be claimed. So listen to the terms. Birth canal, ship canal. We are all, that's all we are and have ever been is cargo. So you have to understand that the laws are in place to govern like we are cargo. That's why we got to have a certificate going in and we got to have a certificate going out.
So, guys, just do what we telling y'all to do.
They ain't got, you know what? They ain't got to do it. They gonna call you, talking about, girl, I can't get my girl, I locked my mama's account. They'll be calling you. They'll call you. Yeah, they'll call you because y'all think it's a joke until you have to do it.
Correct. The next document is an advanced healthcare directive, or what they term a living will.
A living will.
Let me tell you why this is important. You know, when people go back and forth, do I resuscitate or not resuscitate? Do you want
medical power of attorney
machines or not?
Medical power of attorney.
All of that is specified in your directive, because you don't want people keeping you alive if your intent was never to be kept alive on machines. If I had a wonderful conversation with the Queen. And the Queen got very upset because I told her she was not my healthcare directive. She was not the person in charge of that. And the reason she is not is because she will not honor my wish. If I am gone and I'm not coming back,
let me go.
I'm gonna be brain dead. I ain't gonna have no quality of life. I ain't gonna be laughing, joking, singing, talking, chilling with y'all, kicking it. Let me go. My mother is of the school of thought that the Lord can do anything, and if there's still breath in your body, there is still a chance. And I'm not saying that there are not those miracle situations where people come back and they're back in rare form. But if my brain is dead and I will never come back to doing things on my own, I will never be able to laugh, talk, move, let me go. My medical directive says that. Let me go. I don't want all of those artificial things. I don't, just let me go. If you do not have your medical directive, they will keep bringing you back and bringing you back and bringing you back and bringing you back and bringing you
and
back
and charging you for it, and charging
and
you for
charging
it,
you
and
for
charging
it
you
and
for it, and
charging you
charging
for it.
you for it.
Now, with that said, I'm going to say, and I always forget the name, but do you all remember the case where the husband wanted to let the wife go, um, and the parents kept fighting him, and they kept her on life support. She eventually passed, but they kept her on life support, and they were in court for years fighting, um, because he said she wouldn't want to live like this, and they said yes, she would. That stayed in court for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Had that woman had a directive, all of that
Oh,
could
that
have been
wouldn't have
avoided.
happened. Yeah, that would have been avoided. I know a family who's actually going through that right now. She had an asthma attack, and of course, an asthma attack is breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And when she had an asthma attack, she actually went to the hospital, and just based on the amount of time that she was without oxygen, had lost all neural response.
Oof.
And even to this day, and this has been going on, I wish I knew exactly how long, but we may be in a year or more now, but but they're still keeping her in that vegetated state. And but she doesn't know, like, the family's there with her every day, but she doesn't know that they're there. They're not talking, they're talking to her, but she's not talking
Mhm.
back. There's not, and this is the thing. And y'all, the reality is this. And one of the things that I'm glad that you brought that out, Nick, as you're referring to the POA, and then understanding what to do with olds, with telling them to do, the DNRs, and do not do this and do not do that, because the reality is, it's just like with a settlement. If you got into a car wreck and you went and you had, and let's just say they gave you, okay, you won out, you got $100,000. Before you see any part of that money, they gonna check with the medical people. They're gonna check with who has to be paid, because before you see one iota of that money, everything attached to that is going to be paid. So what even happens, and what she's saying is, even after your loved one is gone, y'all, that even happened with my father. My father died from cancer, but he got cancer from a job where he was working, and there was asbestos, and he got cancer from that. But what happened, it was in his lungs, but the cancer traveled by the time he discovered it to his brain. So they went in and started removing the cancer from his brain. And they told us, with surgery, he would have about 6 months to live. Without surgery, he would have about 30 days. So after my dad, because at this point he's now of mind, body, sound mind and body. So he opted to do the surgery for the brain. But then after that, he was like, I don't want any, he doesn't want anything else. No more surgeries. If I'm done, I'm done. If this is it, this is it. And he made us promise, and then it was like, when he was unsure that one of them would or would not carry it out, then he wrote it out and had that thing notarized and signed that this is what I want in the event that something happened, and assigned a medical P of A. And once that was done, when I got to when I got to Dallas, rather, when I walked in, the doctor said, "Are you Patrick?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "We've been waiting on you." And he said, "What's the decision?" And I told them to remove the tubes. And once the tubes are removed, don't give any more medication. And that could mean an hour or a day.
Mhm.
And that was like at about 12 noon on a Saturday, and 7 o'clock that morning on Sunday, my father took his last breath.
Guys, it I know these are things that we normally don't want to talk about. These are things that we don't want to think about, but you have to think about it.
It's part of life.
It is part of
It
life.
really is. It's part of life. Death is
I
a part of life.
remember when my dad was diagnosed with cancer, I had a conversation with all four parents. Um, and I was very adamant that um we need to get paperwork in order, and we need to get paperwork in order now. So daddy did his will, mom did her will, bonus dad did his will. I had power of attorney for all three of them. I had their wills. I had advanced healthcare directives for all three of them. I even had the social media directive um, to determine what happens to their social media accounts. That's a thing. And it should be a part of your will if you don't know that. Um, I'm so glad I did all of that because I lost dad in 20, September of 2020. I lost bonus dad in February of 21. And I still got the queen, but all her stuff is in order. Had I not been adamant, we would have had a whole mess on our hands. Guys, take care of your business, handle your business, get
Yeah.
these documents in place.
Yes.
These are conversations that even if you don't want to have them with your children, have them with your professional so that when you do tell your children they're in order, it's already done. And please understand that once your will is in place, just because your kid gets upset because you left Sally Mae 1, 2, 3 and you only left them 5, it's okay. They got something. And you just want to make sure your stuff is taken care of.
Can I tell you a good way to avoid that too, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
We don't normally do this, but again, this is other cultures that, and I would advise, I know that you are always great about putting notes in once we finish our conversations. A couple of books that I would love for people to read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read that book. Also, The Art of Passing the Buck. There's a volume 1 and a volume 2. And then I would say probably get a 5th edition, which is the best one to date, a 5th edition Black Law Dictionary, so that you can understand legalese language. But having said that, here is something that I would advise all parents to do. When your children become of age and they are employed, meaning if they are 18 and they have a job, listen, here is the thing that you do. Get them to sign up for a policy. That's number one. They'll probably pay about maybe 15 at 18 years old. You'll probably pay about $15 a month for $50,000 worth of insurance. But here's what I'm going to lean in and say this. But have your adult children to all get a minimum $250,000 policy on their parents. That way, if something happens to mom or dad, and this is just a reality of life, we're talking about estate planning. Everybody ain't got to sit around and be waiting to see how much your policy is going to pay so that they can divvy it up. They will have all they will need is just a copy of the death certificate, and they'll cash it in and they'll get it. Now, each one of your children is $250,000 richer. The insurance policy is the best way to start an estate. Because the reason why, because a bank is not mandated to keep the amount that is on your balance actually available. So if your bank had $500,000, let's just say you have $500,000 in the bank, well, the bank may not have $500,000 to give if they got to come out their money. So they may only have $50,000 and say, we have to order the money and you can come back and get it on this date, because they're not required to keep your cash on hand. But what makes an insurance policy different is that if you died, and today being the 29th, if you died on the 29th, on the 30th, if you cash that policy in, they got to give you $500,000 immediately.
Mm-hmm. And just know The typical turnaround for a payout on your policies is anywhere from 48 hours to a week, depending on who your policy is being carried
2 days.
by,
2 days.
how quickly you get the claim in, and how
2 days.
quickly they can process. So it is from the time your loved one dies to the time you get the payout can be
2 days.
anywhere from 48 hours to a week.
And they're gonna show up with a check in their hand. Yeah, that's just real talk. And so it's needful. And Nick, as always, I thank you for, and this has just been something that I've said to you consistently. We have the hard conversations. And this is the stuff that people ignore and don't want to, because none of us really want to think about someone dying. And then you better also think about the reality of that with, let's just say you're getting married and divorced and remarrying. You better understand, better understand documents, because if those things aren't switched, the new love of your life gonna spit on your grave, because your old boo gonna get all of your cheddar.
Correct. And I was just gonna say that you want to make sure that you have your documents in hand, and you want to make sure that you're periodically updating those. I would say look at everything on an annual basis for updating and revisions. Even your beneficiary designations. That's the final document that I want to talk about tonight, is your beneficiary designations. So those are the people who you list on your documents. Like, you know, when you fill out all that paperwork at work and it says who is your beneficiary, you want to make sure that you have beneficiaries named. And if something happens to your main beneficiary, make sure you have a contingent, and you can do the designations on those. Your contingent is in the event that the primary person that is designated is incapacitated or no longer there. You already have a contingent beneficiary listed, so it automatically goes to that person. If you don't update your beneficiaries, then you go back to that intestate succession thing that I was talking about. Like, who does your property go to in the event that nobody is named? So you want to visit these documents, your last will and testament, your revocable or I can't talk, your irrevocable or revocable living trust, durable power of attorney, your advanced health care directive, and your beneficiary designations. You want to visit those on an annual basis to make sure everything is up to date, everything is good, everything is running smoothly. And the reason that is important is because you want people in place to make decisions for you who can make decisions. And in the event that you don't have someone in your family, your professionals can serve in those capacities. They can designate people at the law firm to act on in those capacities.
True.
So, parting thoughts, Pat?
Good information. This is definitely a shareable, a share-worthy conversation. And I love this is the reason why we call this conversation, because this is just simply what we're having. We're having a conversation. We view you as family. And I know that I wouldn't want anybody that I love to have to suffer through some of the stuff that people go through when loved ones die or become incapacitated even in life, but can't do anything after that. So at the end of the day, y'all, these are needed conversations, worthwhile conversations. And I'm always grateful that my friend, like, hey, that you bring those conversations to the forefront and you make it something that we have to talk about and address. So we're always wanting to have the hard conversations. I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, peeps, same time, same channel. Next week, we will be delving into relationships.
Not doving.
Delving.
Not doving. You say doving? They're gonna be delving into it.
I didn't say doving. I said
I know.
doving.
I'm advancing.
Why are we like this? And then you turned off your camera. Okay, anyways. The month of May and the month of June, we're talking relationships. So questions, comments, concerns, get them to us. We have some guests that we are planning to invite on, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.